Hello everyone. In this course, we will study the discrete mathematics structures. It is a theoretical course intended for second year BTech Computer Science and Engineering students. First of all, let's discuss what is discrete mathematics. It is basically study of distinct or discrete objects. So, it is basically study of discrete structures which are abstract mathematical models dealing with discrete objects and relationship among them. Discrete objects could be a set, permutation, graphs, etc. For example, you are having 5 to 6 branches in your college, and every branch has 4 years. Every year has certain sections. Every section has certain students. Combine this within the college, there is a study of distinct objects. All these are come under the category of distinct object as they have different properties. So, what is the reason and what is the purpose of studying this subject? Basically in many field of computer science and engineering, the basic mathematics is very important. It is required, and the basic mathematics concept that is written in that particular book is very precise. And if you want to really understand the subject, if you really want to understand the concept, then you must know certain mathematical topics up to a certain depth. You must know certain terminology. You must understand certain mathematical principles and formula to understand the rest of the subject in the computer science and engineering better. And you must know, it's not required that you study everything in detail, but you must know about each topic, each mathematical topic up to a certain depth, and this will help you to understand the other subjects in your curriculum in a better way. Generally, if you see the basic purpose of studying this subject and what is the aim of this course, the aim of discrete mathematics course is to develop mathematical thinking in you. It is basically a practice of thinking in a mathematical way or in a logical way. Whenever you make a program, you should know how to write a program. Definitely you should know the programming language, but it is very important that you can think mathematically. You can think the logic that you will implement in that program. Let's see certain fields in which you will be using this. Suppose you want to write a program, any language program, and you want to see the correctness of the program, or you want to prove that this program is correct. Then what will you do? You will simply use the discrete mathematics to solve this and to prove this that this program is correct. If you want to test the logic of the program, if you want to do testing then on software or the program that you have made, then simply discrete mathematics will be used. And where you can use it in computer networks. When you want to study the graph theory, you definitely you should know the discrete mathematics. And in the field of and there are many fields where you can use this, like in artificial intelligence or neurophysiology logic. All these are, and there are so many areas where discrete mathematics is used. So let's start this subject, and let's see how mathematical you can think. I have recommended this book, Kenneth H. Rosen. You just go through this book. This is the standard book. The first thing that I'll be teaching you is set theory. Let's see what set theory is. The set theory is a collection of well-defined elements, and it is one of the principal foundation of mathematics, and nearly every mathematical object of interest is a set of some kind. A set is a well-defined collection of objects called as the element or member of the set. These elements may be anything. It could be a number, points in geometry, letter of alphabet, and anything. So we generally write it in the curly braces. Whatever written in the curly braces are known as the element of the set, and here A and B are the set, and 1 2 3 ABC are the element of the set. So I have just mentioned a word well defined. So what is the meaning of well defined? Anything which is well defined, when you combine that, it form a set. So what is the meaning of well defined set? What do you understand by a well defined set? Anything that you can define, anything which is finite. For example, if I am saying that there are certain numbers, natural number, integer, real number, you can define these numbers. I am saying that alphabets, you can define alphabets within the set. I am saying name of the cities, you can define name of the cities. If I am saying name of the rivers, definitely you can define name of the river. But there are certain sets which are not well defined. Suppose I am saying that you have to make a set of 11 pairs in the team. So you can simply write down 11 name in the curly braces and you will say that this is the set. But if I am saying that you have to make a set of good players, so how will you identify the goodness property? What is the property of goodness? Am I saying about the current performance, or am saying about the overall performance? My question is not clear, so the property is also not clear. So this is a non well defined. You cannot define exactly how many names I want, how many names you should write. In the same way, if I am saying that I want the list of or set of all the students in the set, you will write all the names in your class, and that will be a well defined set. But if I am saying that you have to write down the students, intelligent students, so what is the criteria of intelligence? Is it 90% above? Is it 75% above? What is the criteria? So these are called a non well defined set. So this is a basic basic example. Now let's go through certain numbers or a well defined set. These numbers will be used in the further theorems, and you just have to remember the alphabets and the set name. First of all, natural number. You all know what natural number is. It is basically a representation of all the numbers starting from 1 to n, and in this it is represented as capital N. So capital N represent natural number. Whole number starting with 0, it is represented by W. Integer contain 0 plus all the negative integers and all the positive integers. It is represented by capital I or Z. Then rational number, anything which you represent in the P by Q form is rational number, specifying that this Q should not be a 0. This Q should be a non-zero number, and you should represent this set in the form of P by Q. So this is the example of a rational number set, and it is represented by a capital Q. Irrational number is just the opposite, anything which you cannot represent in this P by Q format. This is the example, is called irrational. The real number is combination of rational number plus all the irrational numbers. So R is equal to Q union Q dash. This is important, you should remember this. So that the real number is the combination of rational number plus irrational numbers. And let's see the representation of set. How we represent the set. So basically set is represented in two formats. First one is called the roster or the tabular form, or you can say the direct method, or second one is the set builder form, or you can say the symbolic. Here you write directly the set, here you write the definition of the set. So first of all, let's see what is the set builder form. So a set builder form is something that is written in a symbolic way, something that is written in a symbolic way, and you have to write down its corresponding set. For example, this is written that A is equal to, A is a set of x, fine, x is a natural number and x is less than 10 and equal to 10. So basically you have to write down all the x's that are natural number and those x's are less than equal to 10. So simply you have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the roster form and this is the set builder form. Okay, and you can write the reverse of that also. I can give you this set and you have to define this set. What is this set? What is this set all about? Second is B is equal to set of all the x's where this condition has to be true. What is the condition? X square is less than 20 and the condition is x is an integer. Integer means negative number plus positive number. So just see all these numbers, when you square them they will give you a result less than 20. Okay, in the same way C is a set containing x. The condition is x square minus 9 is equal to 0, x is integer, and when you solve this you will get a plus 3 and minus 3. Definitely this set will contain a plus and minus because x is an integer. So like this we define a roster form or set builder form. The definition of roster form is in the roster form all the elements of the set are listed, the element being separated by comma and enclosed within the braces. For example, if I am saying that if the set builder form is saying the set of all the binary digits, then what will you do? You will just put a curly bracket, then you write 0, 1 because binary number contains 0, 1. Okay. If I am saying the set of all the vowels in English alphabet, so the statement I am saying is a set builder form, and the equation that you have to write is a roster form. So you simply write down A, E, I, O and U. So this is how you represent a set. Either you represent it directly or with the numbers or alphabet, or you represent it in the form of definition, anything which is being defined. Let's see, there are so many types of set like empty set, singleton set, finite set, and I'll be telling you everything in detail. First of all, the empty set. So there is a confusion. The confusion is anything 0 written within the curly braces is a null set. No, it is not. This is not, because 0 is also an element. So what is a empty set? When a set is blank and it doesn't contain anything, then it is called a null set. The definition is a set which contains no element at all is called a null set, empty set, void set, and it is represented by a phi. So basically this is the definition of an empty set. What is the singleton set? Anything that contain one element is called a singleton, and that this is basically a singleton set. So what is singleton set? A set which has only one element is called a singleton set. So S is equal to A is a singleton set, and S is equal to 1 is also a single element singleton. What is finite and infinite? Definitely it's very simple. If the number of element within the elements within the set are finite number of elements, means there is a limit, then it is a finite set. If there is no limit, then it is a infinite set. What is the example of finite set? The set of months in a year, only 12 months are there. The set of vowels in English alphabet, the set of students within the class, all these are finite, and when the limit is not specified, the set is infinite. And this is very important, the difference between equal and equivalent set. Basically in equal set, the number of elements and the exactly elements are same. Two sets A and B are said to be equal if and only if every element of A is an element of B also, and every element of B is an element of A also, and both contain equal number of elements. Suppose in this example, A is heart and B is earth. Both contain equal number of alphabets as well as same alphabets. So this is called a equal set. Same way, next example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. Both contain same number of elements and same elements. So equal set. In the equivalent set, we are only concerned with the number of elements. We just want the number has to be equal. Suppose the A set is a set of all the numbers and B is set of all the alphabets, but number of elements are same. Then they will be called as equivalent set. Next is universal set. So what is a universal set? Let me try to explain you with the example. If I am saying that in any application of set theory, all the set under investigation are likely to be considered as subset of particular set. What does that mean? This set is called the universal set or universe of disclosure set and is denoted by a capital U. Thus, a non-empty set of which all the sets under consideration are subset of is called the universal set. Let me try to explain you with the help of example. With the simple definition, set of all possible subset is called universal set. And all, if I simplify it further, if you want to study human population, then all the people in this world are in the universal set. Okay, fine. The people, then you divide the people on the basis of caste, religion, country, continent, then they will be the subset of the universal set. And in the same way, the set of alphabets is the universal set over which vowel is a subset. So basically every possible subset is a universal set. It is denoted by a capital U and union is denoted by a small u. Next is, what is a subset? What do you mean by a subset? So subset basically part of that. Subset is basically part of the main set. For example, if I am saying that A is a subset of B, then A is a subset of B means that every element of A is also present in B. We can easily imagine a set within a set. Definitely you can easily imagine that within a set there are so many number of sets. Okay, let's try to explain this with the example. The contained set is called a subset of containing set. Suppose the population of Lucknow is a subset of population of India. Definitely. If I am saying that the population of India is the main set, then population of Lucknow is just a subset. So this is how you define a subset. Subset is just a part of the main set. Next is, what is a proper set? What do you mean by a proper set? Okay, let's understand this also. A set is a proper set when this contain less element and this contain larger element. Okay, and if this contain less element plus same element, then this is called a subset. But if this contain less element than this, then this is the proper definition of a subset. So set A is a proper subset of set B if there is at least one element in B that is not in A. Means B contain more number of element and A contain less number of element, then this is called a proper subset. What is a superset? If A is a subset of B, then B is called the superset of A. If A is a subset of B, then B is called the superset of A and written as B is a superset of A, which is read as B is a superset of A. Okay, and the reverse of that is, A is a superset of B if every element of B is also in A, and it is written as A is a superset of B. This is how you write. What is a proper subset? I have already explained you. Proper subset. Any subset A is said to be the proper subset of another set B if A is a subset of B, but there is at least one element of B that does not belong to A, that I have already explained you. This is very important. The definition of power set. So power set is basically set of all the possible subset. Set of all the possible subset. You will get so many questions from this power set. So we'll be solving some questions. So power set is basically set of all the possible subset within a set. Now let's see certain symbols. There are certain symbols that we'll be using, like capital U is universal set, and this is the sign of belongs to, this is the sign of not belongs to, this is union, this is intersection, this is empty set, this is number of element in a set, this is complement. Now what is the definition of operations on set? In this section, we will discuss several operations that will combine given set to yield a new set. So basically, we will perform the operation so that you can produce a new set. These operations, which are analogous to the familiar operation on the real number, play a very important role in many applications. The first is union. The union of two sets A and B denoted by A union B, and it is pronounced as A union B. It is basically the combination of all the elements in A plus all the elements in B, and you just have to write down the common thing only once. So set of all the element which belongs to A or B, and it is written as X belongs to A or X belongs to B. Fine. This is the example. A is equal to 1, 2, 3, B is equal to 3, 4, 5, 6, and the answer will be A 1, 2, 3. Then you just simply write down 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, see the intersection. What is the intersection? The intersection of two sets A and B is denoted by A intersection B, pronounced as A intersection B, is a set of element which belongs to both A and B. So basically you have to extract the common part between A and B. It is written, the definition is X is a set, X is the element in the set, X belongs to A and X belongs to B. X belongs to both A and B. Suppose in this example, A, B, C, D, D element, D is the common thing, A intersection B will be D. Okay. Now difference. So what is the difference? Simply the difference of A and B denoted by A minus B is the set of elements which belongs to A but does not belongs to B. Simply you have to minus anything that belongs to B. Okay. So in this, A is equal to A, B, C, D, B is equal to D element. So D is the common part. Then you will simply delete D from A, and this will be the result. See. Now came to this complement. What is the meaning of complement? So this is very interesting and confusing as well. So simply if you want to make complement of something, you just have to minus that from the universal set. For example, if I am saying let U be the universal set of the question whatever is given, and A is a subset of U, the absolute complement of A, or simply the complement of A, is denoted by A dash or A to the power C, is a set of element which belongs to universal set but it does not belongs to A. In this question, if I am saying A is equal to 1, 2, 3, then A's complement will be all the numbers excluding 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Now this result will give you an empty set. A is 1 3 5 6, B is 2 4 7, and if I am trying to perform the intersection, it will result in a 5 because there is no element in common. Next question is okay, you just simply have to write down and draw a Venn diagram for this. So universal set is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. A is 2 4 5 6. If you want to draw the A's complement, then this area will represent the A's complement, and this will represent A, and this whole is universal set. This is how, if you want to draw the Venn diagram, simply representation of Venn diagram with the help of this. You simply want to minus anything that belongs to B, and this will the result. See, okay. And then last is, what is symmetric difference? So the symmetric difference of two set A and B is denoted by this sign. The set of elements that belongs to A or to B but not to both A and B. It is also called Boolean sum of two sets. It is easy to see as this formula, A union B minus A intersection B. So we are basically trying to eliminate the element that belongs to both A and B. Okay, so this is the result. So Venn diagram, if you want to show the Venn diagram of union, this is the Venn diagram. This will represent the union, this will represent the intersection. Subset is represented as this. This is the whole set and this is the subset. Okay, okay, let's see the next thing. Okay, oh fine. So here I have represented the subset. How you represent the subset? So x is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and y contain 2 4 6 8 10. So technically every element of y is also present in x. So y is the proper subset of x. Y proper subset because x has larger element than y. So this is a example of proper subset, and you write this proper subset as this or this. Now this is the relation between all the number sets. Like real number is the largest because like this is rational number belongs to real number, and integer is a subset of rational number, and whole number is a subset of integer, and natural number is a subset of whole number, and this is the separate part. So technically real number are the largest. Okay, let's find out the subset. So I have just told you that we will be solving certain question on power set. What is the definition of power set? The simple definition of power set is set of all the possible subset of a set. Means if S is any set, then the family of all the subset of S is called the power set of S. The power set of S is denoted by P power set of S, like this. This is the representation of power set. Now let's see how to find out the power set and what will be the maximum number of elements that this set will contain. So simply 2 to the power n. N is the number of elements. So in this question there are 3 elements. This will become 2 to the power 3. 2 to the power 3 means your power set has to contain 8 elements. Let's see if it contains 8 elements or not. So first of all, starting in any power set, you simply write down 5. 5 is also always a part of power set. Then make all the possible combination like A, B, C, A, B, C. Why I have put this curly braces? Because set of all the possible subsets. These all are subsets. then combination AB, what else, BC and this CA, and the last one is combination of all the three. So this is the power set. Next, what is a multi-set? What is the definition of a multi-set? So by definition, multi-set are set where an element can occur as a member more than once. Means in this set you will see same alphabet or same number multiple times. That is why they are called multi-set. So first is, it is a generalization of set. Second point is, an object can occur more than once and it is denoted by the square bracket. For example, in this set, A is equal to A, B, A, C. So A is appearing multiple times. So this is a multi-set. So it is basically represented by a property called multiplicity. The multiplicity of an element is a multiple times that number is, or that alphabet is appearing, is defined to be the number of times the element appear in the multi-set. The multiplicity of the element A, B, C in the multi-set A are what? A is appearing 2 times, so it will become 2A, and rest of them are appearing only 1 time, so only 1. So how will you represent this? You will represent it as 2ABC. So in the question, in the given question, you will be getting this set like this. That means there are 2A, there are 1B and there are only 1C. Now let's see the cardinality of this. Cardinality is defined as the number of element in the set. So technically there are 4 elements, but you are saying that there are only 3 elements. No, there are 4 elements, 2A, 1B and 1C. So this is the cardinality. So given this question of multi-set, you have to perform this operation. I have just told you, the union, intersection, minus. In the same way you have to perform, you just have to remember that there are multiple sets, there are multiple number of same number. Just try to solve this question. Okay, next is a ordered pair. What is the ordered pair? So order is very important. Means if it is written A comma B, you cannot simply shuffle the positions. So an ordered pair is a pair of objects whose components occur in a specific order. It is written by listing the 2 components in the specific order separated by a comma and enclosing the pair in a parenthesis. For example, if I am writing A comma B, then this is the first component and B will always be the second component. It is a pair of objects where component occur in a specific order, separating by comma and enclosed by parenthesis. And if I am writing A comma B, means A belongs to B, and you cannot write it simply B comma A because it is not belongs to B. And the next thing is cardinality or Cartesian product. So cardinality is basically number of element in the set. It is denoted by this sign. Suppose you want to find out the cardinality of A, you simply put these two like this. This will be the cardinality. What is the Cartesian product? It basically multiplication of A and B. So what is the multiplication of A and B? Means A, it is simple as matrix multiplication. Means every element of A will make a relation with every element of B. How will we do that? We will discuss in the next lecture. So in this topic we have studied the entire series of set theory, the type of set, operation on set, algebra and various definitions. You must remember and revise all this introductory part because it is very important to understand the subject further. That's all in the today's lecture. Thank you.